Welcome to Totally Abstracted. I'm Michelle and I'm so glad you're here. As abstract landscape artists, we often create in bursts, responding to emotion, intuition, and the moments that move us. And because of that, it's easy to look back at our growing body of work and wonder, does any of this connect? So today I want to talk about something subtle but powerful, and something I've mentioned before. It's what I call the golden thread, that quiet through line running beneath your work, tying things together even when they seem wildly different. Because even if your colours shift, your tools change, or your inspiration evolves, you are still there in every piece. And that means your work is always more cohesive than it seems. Let's be honest, we're often too close to our own work to see it clearly. You might scroll through your old paintings and feel like you've been all over the place. Moody greys here, joyful brights there. One piece feels ethereal, the next feels raw and textured. And you might think, I have no signature style, no consistency, just chaos. But if you zoom out, not just visually but emotionally, you'll start to notice something deeper. A rhythm, a mood, a way of seeing or feeling that returns again and again. That's your golden thread. The golden thread isn't always obvious. In fact, it rarely shouts. It's often hidden in your choices. The way you build atmosphere, the kind of movement your hand naturally favours, or the way your compositions often lean toward a certain kind of space, like openness or tension or stillness. It might be something about your edges, how you blur or scrape or frame. It could be the way you use neutrals, or how you return to a certain kind of mark even without meaning to. It's you, quietly revealing yourself through repeated instincts. I've noticed in my own work that there's a repeated movement, circular blending with a palette knife or catalyst wedge, then contrasted with vertical and horizontal sweeps. I also love the tension between soft, almost ethereal edges and sharper marks that my catalyst wedge can create. And I have a strong pull toward monochrome. I'd rather mix 6 nuanced shades of phthalo blue than reach for a varied palette. And scribbles sometimes find their way in too, though I often knock them back so that they're broken and partly hidden. I didn't plan any of that. It just kept showing up again and again. But now that I see it, I can honour it, trust it, and allow it more space. That's the real gift of finding your golden thread. It brings a quiet sense of clarity and direction without ever needing to let go of spontaneity. So how do you find it? Well, one of my favourite practices is to gather 10 to 15 pieces, finished or unfinished, and look at them as a group. I don't judge, I just observe. And I ask questions like, what feelings do these paintings share? Are there colour stories I keep returning to? What kind of movement shows up again and again? Do I tend to obscure or reveal? And where do I repeat myself, even unconsciously? It's not about picking a style. It's about discovering a pattern that comes from you being you, again and again, without trying. Sometimes the golden thread runs through your work long before you see it. It might be something you've painted toward for years, circling, reaching, refining. It's your inner compass, quietly guiding the brush or palette knife. Even your experimental phase is a part of it, because often we're experimenting around a core idea, testing the edges, finding new ways to say something we've been trying to say all along. And I want to say this too, your golden thread doesn't have to be tidy. Maybe yours is wild and expressive. Maybe it's soft and moody. Maybe it's somewhere in between. The point isn't to box yourself in. It's to begin noticing. When you can name what draws you, what repeats, what resonates, you start to feel more rooted in your practice. You stop chasing a style and instead start uncovering what's already there. And that's what makes a body of work feel alive and unified, Not necessarily sameness, but a shared soul. So let me summarise what I've explored today. The golden thread is the deeper pattern that runs through your work. You may not see it clearly at first, but it's there in your instincts and your repetition. Observing your work over time helps you discover what you keep returning to. It's not about locking into one look. It's about recognising your artistic DNA. And when you find it, you can lean into it with more confidence without losing spontaneity. This week's creative invitation is to go thread hunting. Pull out 10 to 15 of your recent works. You can photograph them and look at them together if they're too big to lay out. Without overthinking, write down anything you notice. Mood, shape, colour, rhythm, feeling. Try to name your golden thread. Maybe it's subtle tension or misty memory or bold quiet. There's no wrong answer. If you're in my Abstract Horizons membership, post a few of your pieces together and share what golden thread you see, or ask others what they see. It's fascinating how others can often spot things we've missed. Remember, your golden thread isn't something you add, it's something you uncover. In a world that often wants us to define ourselves quickly and neatly, honouring the slow reveal of our golden thread is an act of trust. So the next time you feel scattered or like your work is all over the place, pause, look again and ask, what has always been with me? Because chances are your golden thread has been quietly guiding you all along. Thank you for listening to Totally Abstracted. If this episode helped you reflect on your own body of work, I'd love to hear what you uncovered. Until next time, stay mindful, trust the patterns, and keep things totally abstracted.